We have brought her, your majesty, 3 used to be saying. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, the slave said. Get on your knees when you speak to His Majesty, the Emperor, and bow down low, he thinks. But I have no idea that following that saying would lead to my death. 3 months ago, during the 21st century, a disease began to spread rampantly. I was on my way to the convenience store for some supplies when, what should I get? A girl was using her phone. Dark light hit his eyes. I was hit by a truck. It was an extreme example of what happens when you leave your home unwisely. Wasted. I'm telling you, don't ever ignore those emergency alert texts. Even though I thought I was a goner, when I opened my eyes, she blinks her eyelashes. I was at the, I don't think so, bottom of an old well. Wait, am I trapped inside a well? She tried to climb up and shouted. Somebody, please! Help me! After a moment, she thought, no one is coming. She wondered, how is there not a single person nearby? How remote is this place? Once again, I can only rely on myself. She climbed out of the well and was surprised to see a light? Ha! She wondered what she was seeing and carried out. Oh, one of them asked. Where did she come from? The other asked. What was she doing in the well at this time of night? Is she a spy? She thought. They managed to pull me up. She couldn't even speak properly. What is going on? That's not me. She was surprised to see her reflection in the water. She slapped herself. Am I dreaming? She thought. There's something wrong with me, a villager asked. Do you remember how you ended up in the well? Or your name, at least? She asked. Hold on. Is this what I think it is? And they were all speaking a language she had never heard before. But somehow, she could understand them. This must be God taking pity on me and giving me another chance, she said. My name is, in that case, I'll come up with a cool name that suits this new world. Ellen Fila Ruth de Morsha Irenaeus River Marguerite. What a perfect name for a fantasy setting. Heh, a villager said. Oh my! You must have hit your head. And so I became Leffy. The villagers speculated that someone had hit me on the head and thrown me into the well. Or that I had hit my head really hard when I landed at the bottom. They had all kinds of theories, but the one thing they all had in common was, I had hit my head. I was happy about starting a new life, but there was really nothing to do in this village. So, I began to gather information and came across some mind-blowing news, Leffy said to the villagers. You heard me. His Majesty, Emperor Priscillian, has been meeting up with that young lady a lot. Do you think they'll get married? Oh, you mean Lady Regina? Emperor Priscillian and Lady Regina? She asked. Please tell me more. Those two are characters from my favorite novel, the elegant but straightforward young noblewoman, Cyril von Regina, and the notorious emperor known as the Tyrant of Blood, Priscillian de Ascart, an outspoken female lead and a tyrant emperor who is soft with her, she said. The two of them are a match made in heaven. But really, I'm the only one who thinks that. Priscillian wasn't even close to being the male lead. He barely made any appearances. Wah! Please let them end up together. And they actually never got together in the novel, she said. The one good thing about this is that I ended up in my favorite novel. Priscillian gently took hold of Cyril's wrist and took a moment before backing away. Instead of a priceless jewel or precious metal, it was a bracelet made of flowers. It seemed as though he had made it himself, and so, of course, the next thing I did was signaling to the people not to cross the line. Leffy told them. You must wait your turn if you want your fortune told. Leffy thought, I can make money knowing the story. Knowing the story means that I know the future of this world. Using all of my knowledge of the novel, I began to make money as a fortune teller. She thought, money never lets me down. Leffy's eyes sparkled, seeing all this. And so, rumors of Leffy the fortune teller spread far and wide. She thought, and so, rumors of Leffy the fortune teller spread far and wide. Then, I was dragged to the imperial palace. As soon as she entered, she bowed. His Majesty wishes to know your name, he said. Your name? It's Ellen Fila Ruth de Morsha Irenaeus River Marguerite. It's Leffy, fortune teller Leffy. Are you aware of your crimes? Leffy started crying. She said. I'll never tell prophecies about the imperial family ever again, a man said. About the imperial family? Or about Duke Regina's family? The Duke? The man thought, man. If I can't talk about those three, I'll hardly have anything left to tell fortunes about. Wait, no. Who cares? My life is on the line here. You act as if you are already aware of everything, Leffy said. A child's voice? Is there someone else here besides the Emperor and his Imperial Guards? I do know quite a lot, yes, an employee said. I see, sir, Leffy thought, huh? What's going on? What are they talking about? Leffy's eyes fluttered open, brilliant blonde hair. Deep red eyes that looked like rose petals dipped in blood. This is the Emperor known all over the continent as a tyrant. Persilian de Ascart, she asked. But, Persilian? The king said. In that case, tell me, when will I be turning back to normal? Leffy asked. Why is he a child? I wondered why Persilian hardly ever came up in the latter half of the novel. Leafy was wondering why it was glowing. She asked. I thought he didn't appear anymore because he wasn't the love interest. Where's the writer? I need answers. So he just stopped showing up because he turned into a kid? King asked. I guess you don't know. I kill her, the servant replied. Yes, sir. The king took them out with his sword. Leafy thought that and she asked. No, no. I think it is, King said. I'll look into how to undo your curse right away, the servant asked the king. Sure? Leafy asked the king. Please, give me some time. And she started crying, the king thought and said. Pick him up. The king started thinking. How much time to give him? 5? 5 weeks? 5 days? 5 hours? King said. That. 5 seconds. The king twisted his hand. Leafy thought, what do I do? What do I do? I can't just die and leave all the money I made behind. She thought of something and said. I must do something, the king said. It is done. I cannot tell you right away how such a terrible thing happened to you, sire, but I believe it to be a curse. If you would like me to use my ability to see the future, I must be at your side in order to find out what this is. How did you know it was a curse? Leafy thought, I was just making stuff up, but I guess I was right. Phew, there is a group of dastardly villains out to get you, sire, a servant said. The aristocracy has been behaving suspiciously, sire. The king thought, thanks, Mr. Knight. Leafy thought, you made me think you were scary because of how strict you were with your questions earlier. You must allow me to stay by your side until I find out more about this curse, away from the prying eyes of other people. This will take many days, so I cannot tell you exactly how long it will be, but you must keep me alive, she asked. The harder the problem, the longer I must stay nearby in order to find the answer. This should be enough to convince him not to kill me, right? You're not just saying whatever you can think of to survive, are you? The guy asked. How am I supposed to trust you? Did you not call me here because of the rumors you heard about Leafy, the fortune teller? Therefore, I must conclude that your situation is dire. As soon as something happened to you, the court physician must have examined you first, Leafy said. Since none of them were able to help you, you must have asked for me as a last resort, right? She thought, I guess tyrants really are a different breed. Oh? Judging by his reaction, my guesses must not be that far off. I need to finish things off, King said. Actually, I know about what you did a month ago with Lady Regina, Your Majesty, the guy asked. What? As Lady Regina boarded the ship to be part of a delegation to an allied kingdom, you gave her a bracelet made with red flowers. There was an event at the Imperial Palace that day, but you snuck out. And in return, Lady Regina gifted you a pair of cufflinks, he asked again. And in return, Lady Regina gifted you a pair of cufflinks, but I, Leafy the fortune teller, wouldn't dare impose on Your Majesty's privacy, so I kept it a secret. What I just described was a clandestine meeting between Emperor Persilian and Lady Regina. Only that knight by his side would know about the Emperor sneaking out of the palace that day, and there was no way for the conversation on the ship to be overheard. Persilian treasured those cufflinks so much that he stowed them away somewhere safe and never even wore them. It was my favorite chapter, so I remember it clearly. Upon receiving the flower bracelet, Lady Regina commented that it was the color of your eyes. He asked, and you, sire? King thought, he must be embarrassed. She thought, there's no way I wouldn't remember a chapter about my favorite couple. That was actually their last scene together, but I had no idea it was because the Emperor had been cursed, King said. It's almost as if you were there, the guy asked. Oh, yes. You see, my prophecies are usually like that. I suddenly get a glimpse of a scene in my head. King was thinking of laughing. She thought, I bet he won't kill me now. Why else would he make such a face? Miss Last Resort? She asked the king. Why, yes, sire. Your loyal last resort reporting, she thought. Is that what he's going to call me? Leafy said. Then what of the future where I am back to normal and you are still alive? Leafy's face lit up with happiness. King said. If it takes you too long to see, your future might become unclear as well.